I don't say this often, but Frieren is a modern masterpiece. The animation, characters, world building, everything was honestly S tier. Which took me by complete surprise because this series was made by Madhouse Studios. While the studio used to dominate the anime charts back in the early 2000s, those days are kind of long gone. Please give me Black Lagoon Season 3. I beg of you. Apart from Overlord, I can't name one Madhouse project that particularly interested me in the past 3 years. Frieren changed that all for me. And I'm gonna go on record by saying that Frieren is easily anime of the year. So let's talk about it. Revy baby, take it away. Now with all great anime projects, it comes down to the animation production team behind it. In the case of Frieren, we need to give all of our roses to this one man, producer Shoichiro Taguchi. Rather, we need to give this man a whole ass sake bottle because without him, this anime project wouldn't have came out in like 2030. Taguchi was so bought on the Frieren series that this man lad drafted an anime proposal after reading chapter 1 of the manga back in 2020. When I read the first chapter, I was so moved that I cried. From the first chapter, I felt strongly that I wanted to make it into an anime. He continues by saying Frieren made him allow him to rediscover things that he had forgotten about his daily life. He was stuck with the question, how to live in the present. After getting his proposal accepted, the first thing he did was land a good animation producer. So the team expanded out to producer Yuichiro Fukushi, the leading man when it came to producing recent Madhouse works. In turn, Fukushi was able to land rising director star Keiichiro Saito, the director of Bocchi the Rock. I mean, right when I saw them land the genius behind this, I knew Madhouse was going to cook. A couple of other staff members I just want to completely nerd out about. Firstly, let's talk about background artist Seiko Yoshioka. No cap, the background art of the series is what sold it for me. The range of colors and painterly background art brought a certain level of tranquility to the whole thing. In many ways, it could be argued Yoshioka's art elevated the manga source material. Her art was able to fill in the gap, such as showcasing specific plants that grow in certain areas, or the everyday tools used by the villagers. I deadass could fill up my whole room with framed pictures of Frieren background art. But talking about good backgrounds, I need to talk about Studio Ghibli's animator Shinji Otsuka. He was a key animator of Kiki's Delivery Service, My Neighbor Totoro, Princess Mononoke, Howl's Moving Castle, director Saito. How the hell did you land this legends? Despite it being 24 years since being involved with a TV animation project, animator Otsuka came out swinging with this S-tier sequence in the debut episode. All in all, producer Taguchi was a catalyst with starting this domino effect of landing the best of the best in terms of anime production. But if you want to talk about the best of the best, we need to talk about today's video sponsor, Bespoke Post. Bespoke Post is a monthly membership delivering a box of awesome top-of-shelf goods from under-the-radar brands. It's free to join and you can skip a month or cancel anytime. 90% of products come from small brands, many of which are based right here in the US. Every month we introduce our members to cool new products, outdoor gear, barware, home and kitchen goods, clothing, and more. Even live oysters. And this is all based on the preference quiz you guys fill out. Every box of awesome has around $70 worth of goods inside but costs you only a fraction of that value. Preview your box before it ships, you will get a box of awesome assigned to you, and before it's shipped, you can get a preview of what comes inside to decide if you, number 1, want to keep it, number 2, swap it for a different box, or 3, skip the month entirely for no charge. You only pay for what you want. The 2 boxes I got was the Waft box and the Trail box. Firstly, with Trail, I got a gut hook knife, field box, a book called Surviving the Great Outdoors by Brandon Leonard, pocket saw with nylon straps, and a paracord bracelet. Me personally, I found myself using the gut hook knife for cutting open Amazon boxes or unboxing my anime figures. In the Waft box, I got the unbottled candle, smoked charcoal incense cones, juniper santal and Big Sur fragrance cards, and a concrete match striker with matches. Me personally, I love my candles because it helps me focus when I'm writing my YouTube scripts, and this candle from Hudson Candles smells so amazing. I honestly might need to pick up a second one. So to get 20% off your first box of awesome, go to my link down below, bespokepost.com/yeman20 and use my code yeman20. Okay, thank you to Bespoke Post for sponsoring this video. Now back talking about the anime of the year. A pretty big theme that Frieren focuses on is time. In the case of this series, you see the dynamic of two different sides. On one end, you have an elf who has no real grasp of time, and her human counterparts where time is very much on their minds. This was made very apparent right from the get-go. Like at the end of the hero's journey in episode 1, the hero's party was seeing this amazing meteor shower that comes every 50 years, and then Frieren just casually drops, "Hey guys, let's see this again in 50 years. I just love how this series plays with the concept of time, where in some parts, it feels like the anime is super fast, and in other times, time is very slow. I just think it's borderline genius that the character's perception of time is sort of experienced by the viewer even further, dependent on which character's perspective we're seeing it from. To Frieren, that 50-year journey was quick, so in anime form, that whole thing was just a 1-minute montage. But in Stark's situation, him trying to overcome his fear of killing his first monster, to him, that felt like forever. So to us viewers, it felt a little bit longer because they spent like an episode and a half covering that whole thing. No puns intended, time and time again, there's just this great mismatch of time between Frieren and the other characters. The journey of killing the Demon King took 10 whole years and is pretty much the highlight of certain characters like Himmel or the Drunk Priest. But to Frieren, she's like, shit, a 10-year journey, man? That's like 10 minutes of my life. Now to me personally, the theme that really got to me was the concept of second chances or a new journey. Many times we read stories of a hero venturing out, and during the whole series, they're trying to accomplish this one big thing, such as becoming a Hokage, finding the One Piece, or killing the Demon King. Pretty rarely you see a story where it talks about what happens beyond the journey. This sadness is encapsulated as Frieren's hero's friends are passing away, and despite that, she has to live on. It causes you to ask yourself the question, what would you do if you were in Frieren's shoes? Would you just succumb to drinking yourself to numbness? Or would you go on a whole different adventure like Frieren to honor the great journey you had? I relate to Frieren on a spiritual level. I'm in a place in life where I can say I'm beyond the hero's journey. I accomplished the American dream, paid off my college loans, and I even own property. I'm barely in my late 20s, so what the hell am I supposed to do with the rest of my life? There is a certain level of numbness when you achieve the American dream. It's kind of crazy to me. Like there's hundreds of manuals and how-tos of accomplishing the dream, but there isn't too many manuals talking about what you do after you achieve the dream. When I was in that broke college lifestyle, that NYC grind, there is a certain level of excitement, a romance if you will, a working hard to kill the Demon King known as financial insecurity. But what do you do when you're now living in financial independence and comfort? The great boxer Marvin Hagler once said, "It's tough to get out of bed to do road work at 5 a.m. when you've been sleeping in silk pajamas." I was embracing mediocrity, but my spark for life went off. I was reminded I still need to get after that 100k silver play button, and I was also reminded of my dream of wanting to voice in a Gundam series, a crazy dream I had when I was 8 years old. I cannot stop now. I need to keep going. So like Frieren, whose spark came in the form of Fern and Stark, the marathon continues. Now, another thing I really love about Frieren is its parallelism to my favorite series of all time, Violet Evergarden. Firstly, both of these series got the same composer, Avon Call, working on the music score. So from that perspective alone, the feeling of tranquility is pretty similar across both series. And like what I mentioned earlier about the whole beyond the journey thing, Violet had to ask herself the same question. Because the war ended, she couldn't live on embracing her killer soldier lifestyle in this new stage of life. So for Violet, her new journey was finding out the meaning of Gilbert's words around love. In a similar way, while we're reminded of Frieren's OP as fuck magic killing powers, Frieren doesn't really need to carry herself in the same way since the Demon King is dead. Rather, in the pursuit of trying to connect with the ghosts of her friends one last time, Frieren is able to grow in her appreciation of relationships, especially with humans. Now, the bow to all of this really comes down to the great details. One great detail example happened in episode 1 where the party goes on their one final journey. We see the hero, Himmel, now as an old man being fixated on a single meteor modeled after a famous sparkler among Japanese fireworks called Senko Hanabi. This Hanabi represents a sign of beauty and speaks on the cycle of life itself. And it's pretty fitting in this instance because as the meteor fades away, so does the life of Himmel. Oh man, we gotta talk about this one. So in episode 7, that one time where Frieren was talking about how she's probably the only one on Earth that remembers the face of Flamey, the founder of humanity's magic, aka Frieren's master. You can barely make this detail out, but in the corner of the frame, as Frieren was saying this whole thing, Himmel's whole body language changes. It then jumps later into the episode where we see Himmel's obsession of getting his statues made. There is an element of comedy as it took 5 retakes to make one single statue, but Himmel punches us in the feels by telling Frieren the biggest reason why he's doing all of this is so that she isn't alone in the future. Damn man, my Kokoro. This is all pointing to the most important theme of this series: relationships. To be honest, all the characters in the story are pretty conventional on their own. You have a self-centered hero, you have a drunk priest, an OP mage. The magic is when you mix all of this in a pot and you get some amazing chemical reactions. Yes, life is full of difficulties, people pass away, time is fleeting, but the only thing that truly remains at the end of the day is lasting interpersonal relationships. That is the burning fire within Fern as she wants to honor the life of Heitler, or Stark wanting to tell his master Izid his hero's journey to give him things of what his mentor taught him to this point. This beautiful theme is punctuated with the amazing backdrop of fire-ass music, amazing animation, and just an overall passionate animation production cast. Madhouse is so back, baby. Huge shout out to Bespoke Poster sponsoring this video. Make sure to use my link down below for 20% off your first box. This is my first anime review in 2 years. It's good to be back. I hope I do more of these in the future. But until then, this has been your boy E-Man. Peace out.